Welcome to Kathy Madison, Master Beekeeper, capstone presentation for the California Master Beekeeper Program. Kathy, please take us away. Let us in on what you've been up to this past year in 2021 in building your capstone for the camp.
Well, thank you, Wendy and Leah and Alina. Thank you all for being here. And I would just like to thank you for this opportunity to let you know about what I've been working on, but it would not have been possible without the collaboration that is totally given into this program for learning and making connections with all the parts that you do learn. So we'll just dive right in. It took me a while to get to the different capstone ideas. There were just so many. It's, with the kind of parameters given by the program, I think you find that you should and want to do more and more and more. Each element transitions to another area of bees, whether it's honeybees or pollinators or soil or floral or foraging, anything, diseases. It's a complete spectrum of wanting to learn more and opportunities. So I'm not sure when to tell Wendy to forward the next slide, but maybe the next slide. So the very first one was kicking it off with a crowdfunding proposal that Wendy and Leah and I worked pretty hard on. And this is the video game curriculum assistant program that we were trying to raise funds for. Probably next slide. And when we were doing that, it takes a lot of people to get it up and running. And we followed up with thank you notes and all the process of the stage and realized, and also had gifts for people at the end with a recipe booklet and things. So it was A to Z project to get, I think, about $17,000. So with the number of people hours that we incorporated, I don't think that personally that it was that profitable for both camp or the folks. And here's a copy of a recipe, what it looked like. Wendy had a wonderful person help. I think her name was, I've forgotten her name, but it's in the recipe booklet. And it's just lots of recipes that were actually Leah, Wendy, and Alina all have a special recipe in the booklet. And it was just a nice thank you to give to folks who had supported the cause. So anyway, and moving on, I think that when the next opportunity came along to help out, I was relieved because I realized that the crowdfunding had not been that supportive, although a great learning experience. But so this was starting, I think in May, I began helping with the social media write-ups for camp. And along with Jason and Wendy, or they mastered it. I just submitted graphics with topical or fun or easy to kind of relate to increase our grouping that actually watches and goes to camp. We're trying to get them to come into camp and be possible students or supporters or donors, and basically just letting people know more and more about the bees and pollinators and things that are being done, not only at UC Davis and camp, but other places in the world too, just to spark interest, keep it going, because it's the kind of thing that it could plateau out. We don't want that to happen. So there were lots of different kinds of these are just a couple of samples, but they're mostly inspired by what's out in the media. Wendy, Jason, Aaliyah did it. And then also sometimes I'll see things that Alina's done and I'll try to put that in there too. So it's kind of nice to be up on what's going on by having to be kind of aware. So anyway, moving on, we have been continuing to do it. And in the meantime, what I did was put together a slideshow that was actually I think this was a keynote to a presentation for a garden club that could be given to any garden club in a way, but they were very interested in pollinators and how to attract them to their garden. So I turned it into like a cosmopolitan Cosmo kind of thing. Spill it, honey, what's the buzz and how can we catch that pollinator, 10 best ways. So I think they liked it a lot because they want me to come back again next spring and just update everybody. So I don't know what that's going to look like because this took a lot of time, but I did take a lot of information that I'd learned from the program, like Rathia and the honey group folks, Harris and Dr. Harris. And there were some other things too that I just while researching, I incorporated in there, including pictures from my own bees and own garden. But I really liked the video that that Wendy had with the Varroa mite. As you play it, they just get attached. And I had so many people ask me to play it again and again during the garden show presentation because it was so pretty dynamic. It's nice to have videos in there. So that was fun. But again, it was like looking around for something else to do in the capstone project that would be beneficial and helpful to have somewhere in the archives. So so Wendy helped me with that, and probably go to the next one. I guess, oh, I know San Mateo asked me to come down for next time. Oh, then I decided, well, you know what, my bees need a lot more foraging, even though we live right next to Golden Gate Park, half a block in. So I talked to the new director of the quadrant that's called Presidio Berms. It's like he has all the area between Golden Gate Park and the Crissy Field. And right now we have a pollinator habitat highway that we're starting that goes from, so far we have 2 blocks out of 14, which isn't bad for one spring, considering the bureaucracy and the speed at which I think local government can be moving, which is usually at a snail's pace. But this has been, we had 9 trees that are bee flowering plants along with all this. I think we could go to the next one just to show you. It started out like this, but we had to do a lot of soil amendment, had to time the flowers, the germination time. And I can tell from the germination time that because the weather is not what you think it's going to be, the ones that are supposed to come out in the spring are already starting to come up because the weather's been so, the soil was warm to begin with. So, and we've had a lot of like light rain, mist rain, sun. So it's just perfect for some plants that normally don't come out until spring. So we'll see how it goes. These are the data about each of the plants and the height. We kind of wanted it to be terraced, but I think because of the way the whole weather pattern is going, we might not know what's going on. So the left little picture was something I was drawing with my grandson when I was coming up with an idea. And then on the right is what it actually looks like with just the different sections. So people walk by all the time, and so they constantly see the Xerces sign and camp sign. And I'd say about maybe 50 people a day stop. There are more people that walk by because we're right near Golden Gate Park, but they'll see pictures of the flowers and information on the backside. They're all laminated and they're in a very pretty way. And now the stump is going to be, as soon as we can find a chainsaw artist that will travel here, will be turned into a hive. Right now it looks like a half dome. So the idea is to have the interior look like comb and the outside be a dome, somewhat like a natural hive, but still more artistic. It'll depend on the artist what they want to do. So that's what that stump is doing there. They would have taken it out, but we thought, oh wait, we need the minerals. I mean, we need the different kinds of nutrients, and why not just make it into art? So that's how that's going. And we have 12 more blocks to do. So before all of this, I thought one of the things I would do would be to help write or come up with some grants. And I went through so many of them, and they're all very complicated, and you need a full team, I think, to implement them. First of all, you need to find them, make sure they apply in some way, even sometimes vague. And then you have to get all the information that you have somewhere in different areas. And that just takes a team of people, I think. But still got a few out. Wendy submitted a couple, and so those were those. The latest one that I see, because sometimes I'm just reading along to see what other people are doing for funding, and it's the one with the ag license plate. I think that would be super easy, and it would be more than the crowd fundraising. I think it'd probably be, based on what they've awarded this year, I think it would be like into the 22,000 to 28,000. So that might be worth some people's time. I don't know. So there were about, I think, 2 slides of these, Wendy, and then of different, nope, okay, good. So then we did a questionnaire for beekeepers to evaluate their interest, and that was with Eric Carlson, I think, when we were working on that area of tainted honey and pesticide use during the harvesting of honey, and all these kinds of things that beekeepers probably need more advice on and help with. And then there was some work down that Leah was doing on aggressive honeybees, and trying to figure out a way to let folks know more about it and how difficult it needs. And so we just put together a rap song. So And here's some bees moshing at the club jumping hive. Anyway, that was super fun. I don't even know. You can go on, Wendy. That was just a fun little project thing, but it does work. I had some kids down the block try it out. That they thought it was cool. And then they're actually 4 blocks away, but they're so loud. They don't really practice at home too much. I heard them in the garage and went up to them and asked them. They were pretty great. Anyway, so that's just something that I think is just a fun way to let maybe kids know about it at a school. But it's also kind of not very nice about the killing of the natives and things like that. So it's hard to put that into context with education, but it could be. And then, oh yeah, the last one, and finally the one we settled on was a companion story to the apprentice assistant level video game course. I'm not sure how that's all coming about, but the companion book is about pollinators in general, and it's a fantasy, and it was really fun. And I've submitted it to 2 agents and have it ready. They need different formats, and have it ready for 2 more, probably on Monday, maybe tomorrow afternoon. I don't know, it depends on how everything goes. That the book it has lesson plans and a curriculum plan. First of all, a curriculum plan, and then the lesson plans that go with it for a certain age group or grade level group of 3 through 6. And but like any fantasy book, it could be read by anyone out loud to either a younger or English as a second language person. So and it includes all the STEAM curriculum, which I like. Let's see, this type of group that's middle grades 3 to 7 can sometimes be challenging because some kids are really advanced and some are not. And you're trying to, a lot of schools can't divide it out into gifted or special ed, or they just have it all grouped together. So it's nice to have a book with the curriculum for all those groups and something that could be appealing content wise, but still be challenging and modified for remedial reading, especially in the groups when you have just discussion groups, or in particular in this group is hands-on project work. So putting together imaginary, Jeopardy games that, as pollinators, Jeopardy magic, and they're in Jeopardy. And so anyway, it took a long time to put together, but super fun. And I think that, it took a lot of hours. The 1,000 hours is kind of an approximate. It could be a little bit less or a little bit more, but I'm not really sure. It just, it melds into it. And there were so many rewrites and writing and rewriting. It's hard to tell exactly how many hours. So
yeah, and you're still working on it. So yeah,
I keep looking at it and rewriting. And I've had a couple of people who teach to young kids come back and say really positive things about it, but then there would be a little tweaking here and there so that they could actually, one was about resolving each chapter. Kids like to come in and have it resolved, but I'm not sure I'm going to go with that. But then the other person who's a librarian said that the title needed to be changed because she said it was much more complicated than that, and it's not necessarily, it would appeal to kids, but not necessarily appeal to teachers. So I'd have to figure out what my true target audience was. So anyway, that's that.
And those are the slides.
Okay.
Yeah. We're grateful for your presentation. And
I know time is really, really important, so I was trying to rush through it, but
we will put this up behind the member portal and make sure we get our masters in training to watch it. Thank you so much for your time today, Kathy.
Super.